Hey, what's up everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here. Today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite active bands, and that is Horn. This is a one-man pagan black metal band from Germany, and today I'm going to be running through his entire discography, showing off my CD collection. I own every single album that this man has released under the name Horn. The man behind the band is Nicholas or Narath. They've been around with this project since the early 2000s, still going strong to this day. I got my back patch here. Hopefully you can see it on the camera. This is a back patch band for me. Absolutely one of my favorite bands. Put out 10 full-length albums as well as compilations and EPs. I will go through each of them chronologically, give you my brief thoughts on them. But wow, what an absolutely flawless discography. I do not know too many bands that have this much material that is this strong. Like, this is 10 albums into a discography where there's still not a single dud. Every single album here really hits the mark. This is epic and folky atmospheric black metal, pagan black metal, really known for his great melodies and just this harmonious guitar tone that is so recognizable. As soon as I hear that guitar, I'm like, oh, that's Horn. It's just absolutely amazing. Some of the best black metal out there, in my opinion. Throughout the course of his career, each album kind of has its own theme, but like early on in his career, the albums were more on the atmospheric side, focusing on like lyrical content about nature and just heritage and stuff like that. In the middle of the career, they focused more on war and just like past times. And then in the later stuff, while some of those themes are still present, it's almost more about like mankind's futility and just really concept album after concept album and just really top shelf stuff, top notch black metal. In addition to showing all the CDs, I will also show some goodies that I got from the man himself. I order from him all the time. When it's a one-man band and you can order directly from the artist, that's what it's all about. I like supporting an artist that does everything himself, mails out all the stuff, and yeah, he usually hooks you up with some goodies. Like here, we got a logo match set. That's pretty cool. Not something I would have expected. He hooks me up with stickers. You know, you got a few of those. And then also postcard from the Feldpost album, which I will talk about after. But yeah, I'm going to get right into this. If you have not checked out this band before, hopefully this video will help turn you on to some absolutely great albums. So here we go. Let's go chronologically. So to kick it off, his debut full-length is from 2005, titled Yadri Zeiten. So I actually have the re-release here. This is the first two albums on one compilation, so I'll kind of explain that in a second. But we'll start with the first part, the debut, Yadri Zeiten from 2005. So that's over on this side of the album here. You got the CD there with the artwork, really awesome. So as I said at the beginning of the video, each album kind of has its own theme, and each album will describe that. So as this one says, Yadri Zeiten is my score of the Alps, the vast and pine-covered evoker of grand thoughts. And yeah, that's what this album sounds like. He's definitely inspired by nature, just seeing the German Alps. And this album has a very like do-it-yourself vibe. It sounds like it was just recorded by himself in a basement, which it was. But this is clearly his rawest album, but it adds a little bit of charm to it. The atmosphere on this album is just amazing, and it features amazing songs here, like Alpenland, The Fading Landscapes, Glory, but like every track here really hits the mark. Really top-notch atmospheric black metal, especially for a debut. You go put this on, you will hear that guitar tone that I'm talking about. Maybe the drumming and the production is a little bit rougher, but that's because it's like a do-it-yourself album recorded in a basement. The production would improve on subsequent releases, but for a debut, absolutely amazing. So sticking with this same package, the second album, his first two albums I think originally were released just on like CDR, like very independently released, but a few years back this was released, and I scooped it up immediately because I was so pumped to finally get these first two albums into my collection. His sophomore album, Die Kraft der Szenarien from 2006. Oh, I should have said for the debut album. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I was going to score each of these albums out of 10. The debut, Yadri Zeiten, I will give 9 out of 10. So I'm getting off track. Let's get back to the sophomore album now. Die Kraft der Szenarien from 2006. So that is the second half of this compilation here. Over on this side, some great artwork there. If you want to know what this one is about, it says this is an audible monument to a home to the one the natives called Westfalen. So this is all about his home, Westfalen, in Germany. And another one just really captures nature within the music, and it just transports you there. The production was slightly improved over the debut, not quite as clean as it would get on later albums, but he took that foundation, the template from the debut, and really built upon it, and I find this album definitely an improvement over the debut. The guitar tone here is just so mournful. There's so much sorrow throughout this album, but it's still uplifting at the same time too. You've got great songs like Landscapes on Hold, Spatherbst. I'm going to be mispronouncing stuff throughout this video, so I apologize. I do not speak German. There's a lot of different languages going on some of his albums here, but yeah, I'll do my best. But yeah, Die Krafte Szenarien compared to the debut, definitely a step up, and definitely one of my favorite Horn albums. I'll give it 9.5 out of 10. You'll see as I go through this discography, none of these are going to have low scores. I'm a huge fanboy of this band, so maybe my opinions are biased, but every single album here is top-notch. Let's get on with it. On to the third album, which is from 2008, titled Natterkraft. So I will take the booklet out here so you can see, because sometimes the glare from the window kind of reflects. But yeah, there you go, some more beautiful artwork. Check that out there. For this one, yeah, talking about what the album's about, this is all in German, so I'm not going to be able to tell you there. But yeah, nonetheless, there's the back of the CD. This is another very nature-based album. Definitely better production than the first couple albums, and this is possibly his most aggressive album, just really raw. It's got that fuzzy guitar tone, but at the same time I say that it's really sweeping and grandiose in nature. Talking to other people that like this band, this seems to always be the one that they say is their favorite, and rightfully so. This is right up there in the mix for me. It's not my absolute favorite by the band, but it's right there. Got absolutely amazing songs like Landscapes on Hold 2, a bunch of other songs that I can't pronounce, but yeah, truly amazing. If you haven't heard them before, this isn't a bad spot to start. You kind of get a taste of his earlier vibe with the more raw approach, the aggressive black metal here. But yeah, Natterkraft, 9.5 out of 10. Another absolutely amazing album. After that, the fourth album from 2010, Distance. Let's show you that there. And I will pop the booklet out. So this album here, Distance, is the artifact of displacement, of entrenchment in soil and time, of roaming the fields, mountain tops, and dales of time, of the most unpredictable thoughts that venture the depth of mind, of incompetence and ingenuity, and idleness and constraint. This, yeah, as it also says here, this is lo-fi, one-man homemade heavy metal in its purest form. Nothing more, nothing less. And that is an absolutely perfect way to describe this album, as I am dropping everything here. But yeah, this one, the riffs on this album are just insanely good. Like, absolutely ripping riffs. There's almost like black thrash parts. It's gonna blow you away. The production has still got that fuzzy tone to it, but wow, some of these riffs, you will be just they'll stick in your head. Like, they are earworms, but it's raw, aggressive black metal with some atmospheric touches. But wow, yeah, like Überall und Über allem and Die Verlorene Rote. He ends up redoing both those songs in a couple albums, which I'll talk about. But to kick off the album with a 1-2 punch, ooh, absolutely amazing. Then you still got like A Stranger Homeward Bound, The Grandest of All Blades. Killer album. I think I like Natterkraft a little bit more. They kind of have a similar vibe, but this one I'm still giving 9 out of 10 to. Absolutely amazing. Go check it out if you haven't. All right, up next, the fifth album from 2013, Conflict. So yeah, got the nice digipack here. I think this one was on Northern Silence. Yeah, not all of his albums have been on Northern Silence, but quite a few, and I absolutely love that label. One of the best. Show you the inside here. Really puts together a nice package here. So in terms of what this one is about, this is where it kind of started drifting into territories where it deemed more with like war themes and just heroics of deeds past and stuff like that. This says the piece of the name Conflict lies in the framework that before had been referred to as the self-sacrifice on the altar of duty. There's a pretty long spiel here about what the album's about. I won't take up too much of your time, but yeah, this one's more like war themed, as you can see from the art and just everything there. But yeah, really cool stuff here. This kind of was almost the spot where the style shifted a little bit from the earlier material. Not too much, but there's still just, he's starting to experiment a little bit more, different songwriting approach compared to before. Like there's some really march-like tempos on some of the songs, but then there's also some fast rippers, and I like that it's kind of trying out some different things here. If I had to pick a favorite song here, I'd probably go with Bronze Stave, but this whole album, once again, is very solid. Even throws in some falsetto screams, which was pretty unexpected the first time I listened to this. Wasn't expecting that at all. Like, he always does black metal rasps, and then actually has really awesome, clean singing as well. But this is the only album that really features some falsettos, and they're just sprinkled in here and there. But, yeah, Nicholas Neroth, great vocalist. And, yeah, this album, maybe not my absolute favorite by Horn, but it's still very solid. I'm still going to give it 8 out of 10. I still strongly recommend you go check it out. All right, the album after that, 2015's Feldpost. So another one very themed around war. I'll show you the booklet here. Yeah, so as I mentioned at the beginning, this one got the postcard that came with it, because it's all kind of centered around like tales of war and like the soldiers riding home. So it's just kind of fits the package together. This is a shift from like the first half of his career to the rest, where this is where the production values really improved. You got a lot cleaner sounding. You can hear all the instruments way better. I'd almost say it's like a start of a new era. So if you listen to some of those early albums and think like the production isn't for you, maybe go start with this album. This is where the production really started getting crisper and cleaner and started bringing in some different influences as well. And you can just really feel the sorrow bleeding through these songs. And it's so emotional and heavy, but it's just so good. So this album, it's only 6 tracks. The last 2 tracks, as I mentioned before, they're the first 2 tracks from the Distance album, but he re-recorded them here with the updated production value, and it really works so well. These updated versions of those 2 songs, top notch, but the other 4 songs on here are absolutely amazing too. Die Würfel Rollen Wieder, one of my favorite Horn songs on any album for sure. Und Wiener Wust von Flandern as well. Just, yeah, awesome, awesome stuff here. 9 out of 10 album, Feldpost. All right, after that, go to 2017 with Term am Hang. So yeah, another one with some absolutely great album art here. This is possibly my favorite album cover that he's done. Just got the great castle there. Look how awesome that is. This is, he started bringing in a lot more folky elements at this stage of his career. Folky, epic black metal, and I absolutely love this style. Like almost an influence of a band like Windear could be heard here. And this one, yeah, what does this say that this album's about? It's the sound of a giant dying, the words of citizens becoming men, the noise of lithic architecture in the eye of the storm, harboring souls untainted, unbroken, isolated, an educative outpost from where to gaze at a world in flames. So yeah, very much changing the theme again, very much about like mankind's futility, and yeah, what an awesome album. This is easily one of my favorite Horn albums. The title track here is so catchy. It is going to stick in your head, as well as the 4th track here, Die mit bon Bogen am Def Cruz. Probably butchering that pronunciation, but wow, I absolutely love the build-up in that song. Just, oh, I can't sing for shit, but go listen to the song. You'll see what I mean. It's so heroic. You want to just pump your fist in the air. It's just the kind of music that is gonna pump you up. Like, this is manly black metal. This is burly black metal. This is amazing, amazing stuff. One of my favorite albums by him for sure. 9.5 out of 10. Solid, solid release. All right, after that, he did release an EP in 2018 called Retrograde. So yeah, this one, not too many tracks on here, a couple interludes, but I absolutely love it, especially for an EP. This one, for what it's about, an outpost in the plains, yield us sight upon what was, conquered and erected upon the high ground of old, not that of morals, but that of the ways of fist and axe, the ever-prevailing standard of right and wrong. There's a little bit more about it as well, but once again, I'm not going to just read here for too long, but yeah, amazing packaging here once again, and yeah, if I had to pick favorite songs on here, I'd probably go with Bakstub. I cannot pronounce these. But yeah, there's like a couple interludes. There's not that many songs. That's really my only complaint about this, is that I wish there was more material on here, because it's absolutely killer. It really followed in the footsteps of Turmam Hung and built upon that, bringing in the folkiness. Like, you've got cello, you've got dulcimer, you've got all these different instruments, and it just, yeah, amazing stuff. Go check out this EP. Just because it's an EP, you shouldn't skip it. It's a solid release. After that, the next full length is from 2020, titled Mongang. This is another one that is just a killer album. Like, more great album art there as well. If you want to know what this one is about, this collection of songs is dedicated to the concept of autonomy and heteronomy, the forthgoing resettlement of the boundaries between them, the greatest gifts granted by the former, and the worst in man brought forth by the latter. So yeah, another very well put together booklet here. Got all the lyrics, everything that you want in there. And yeah, it's kind of following the same path as Turmam Hang. This does once again move into even folkier territory with like dulcimer, cowbell, a little bit of everything here, and even got like some traditional heavy metal style riffing in some of these songs. This, I think, was his first music video for Sat Scheint der Sud de Tat, which is an awesome song, so go check that out on YouTube if you haven't. All in all, if I'm comparing it to the previous ones, I think I love Turmam Hang a little bit better than this, but this is still an amazing album. 8.5 out of 10, solid release. Go check it out. All right, going to 2022 with what was one of my favorite albums by anyone that year, and that was Verzet. This album is probably my favorite horn release. It is just perfection. To me, this is a 10 out of 10 album. Another one, yeah, absolutely amazing stuff there. Verzet is the heretic's placard nailed with bloodied hand to the wooden gates of a church. It's the rusty flagpole rammed into a hill to die on, fixated with steady hands. In the mind-crunching tone of chemicals dislocating is a hymn to undying bonds of camaraderie, and is a soundtrack of agency. This album is probably his folkiest work to date. It's so epic, but it's so catchy as well. The melodies here, absolutely majestic. This is black metal, pagan black metal glory, pagan black metal perfection. Absolutely love this. Got tracks like Alpen Recorder, A Hill to Die On, front to back, perfect album. 10 out of 10, one of my favorites from that year. If you've never heard the band, maybe start with that. Absolutely love it. Before we get to the newest release, there was also a compilation album that he released to celebrate 20 years of the project back in 2023, and that is aptly titled 20 Jahre, or 20 years. So the purpose of this release was to take some songs from his earlier albums, like demos and the first couple albums, and re-record them with modern production, add some more strings, kind of rearrange them a little bit. And, well, a lot of times I'm not a fan of re-releases or just updating old songs. This one is really fitting, especially to celebrate 20 years of being in the band. Like, as he says here, a compilation of re-recorded and reinterpreted songs, hand-plucked from different works originally released between 2004 and 2010. You got the awesome booklet here as well. So yeah, it's just redoing some early songs from early on in the career, like The Fading Landscape's Glory, The Grandest of All Blades, Spatherbst. Just awesome stuff. If you aren't into the production style on his early albums, go check this out, because you can kind of hear a retelling of these old songs in a different scope. It's just, yeah, it's really solid. If you're a horn fan like I am, it's a must-have for the collection. That brings us to his latest release, which was just released earlier this month, and that is Dodge the Ark from 2024. I got the A5 Digipack here. Just arrived in the mail a couple weeks ago. Not even a couple weeks ago, actually, like a week and a half. But yeah, absolutely amazing stuff here too. Easily going to be one of my favorite albums from the year. So what this one is about, it's 8 hymns to rural life in the late 19th century, to the crops and fields, to the essence of hunger, and to the advancements in medicine. So he kind of switched up the style on this album a little bit compared to the couple that preceded it. Dialed back the folky influences, dialed back the clean vocals, and this is more of like a throwback to straight ahead, old school horn style black metal. It's still got some of those elements in here. I don't want to say like he's abandoned them completely, but I think he fully intended here to kind of do a throwback style album that's more direct, doesn't have the interludes, and is just in your face, straight ahead black metal, and it's a fucking killer album. You got stuff like made a video for the song Dowd Song. That's gonna stick in your head as well. Catchy ass chorus. Pyres, another one that's just straight to the point, very short, like 3-minute song, but oh my god, I feel like that song would kill live. Just absolutely amazing. Every single song on here really hits the mark. Like I said, this is going to be one of my favorites of the year for sure. I'm sure you're going to be hearing me talk about this throughout the course of the year. But yeah, for right now, I'm giving it 9 out of 10. That could even rise. I mean, I've only been listening to this for like 3 weeks, so it's going to rise, I'm sure, as I spend more time with it. Fucking killer release from this year by a killer band. So that is Horn's discography in a nutshell. Hopefully, if you never heard them before, this can help introduce you to the band. If you have heard them before, give me your thoughts on these albums down below. Let me know what you think of his newest one. Let me know what you think of all of these. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Go explore this band. Goddamn amazing. One of my favorite black metal bands out there. Until next time, Hammer Art Metal Reviews. Out.